Allan Border grew up in the Sydney suburb of Mossman. He discovered cricket early in life.
From the age of probably 6, 7, 8, I can remember, going over to the nets at Mossman Oval, getting decked out in whites, and then starting to play in the under-12s for Mossman, and then going through the ranks, playing a little bit of club cricket, and ending up in first grade, right up to probably playing cricket for New South Wales. I was just playing the game. I didn't really have clear ambitions. I just enjoyed playing the game, and just basically was waiting to see where it took me. So yeah, probably from age 19, 20, somewhere around there, I did start to, make a specific effort to hone my skills a little more and see where it could take me.
Allan Border came into Test cricket during the World Series cricket split that had fatally weakened the Australian team.
I'd been making runs for New South Wales. I think I'd made back-to-back hundreds, and in that period, that was good enough to get you a game in the Test side, because the Test side was getting beaten, and the selectors were looking for new young talent. Before I'm probably ready, I'm thrust into Test cricket.
Despite making 60 and 45 on a difficult wicket in his second Test match, Border was inexplicably dropped.
The selectors, looking for a winning sort of combination, decided to leave me out and play another all-rounder, which was unsuccessful. We ended up losing the game again and lost the series 5-1.
Recalled for the following series against Pakistan, he made a century, and so began an unbroken tenure of 153 consecutive Test matches.
I all of a sudden started to realise I could perform at this level, because Pakistan had all their World Series cricket stars, the Imran Khans, Zahir Abbas's, Asif Iqbal's, etc., etc.
In 1979, a compromise was brokered between the establishment and World Series cricket. The icons came back to the fold.
That felt a little bit more like it was my first Test match, because you're sitting around, you're the new kid on the block with all these legendary names that you'd sort of, growing up, going through your teenage years, that watching them play cricket on television and reading about them, all of a sudden you're in the same dressing room. That probably felt a little bit more daunting than actually being involved in my first Test match.
In 1980, Border, in just his second overseas tour, made 150 in each innings of a Test against Pakistan.
No surprise that Allan Border is the only player to achieve that sort of statistic, because he had the ability to focus and concentrate for long periods of time. Conditions wouldn't have been easy in that particular Test match. An outstanding Pakistan attack as well. That great Pakistan left-armer Iqbal Kazim. It also included Imran Khan, who was at the very peak of his power at around that time.
By now his average was over 50, and he was by far Australia's most consistent run-getter.
They weren't always pretty innings, but again, it didn't matter. They were so important, not only to that current team, that team of the day that he was desperately trying to inspire, but it also was a signpost for the next generation of batsmen. This is the tenacity, the courage, the temperament you need to succeed at international level.
One of his finest achievements from that period was his 98 not-out and second innings century to save a Test against the rampaging West Indies at Trinidad in 1984.
I put down the 98 I made against the West Indies in Port of Spain as my best Test match innings. Didn't have all the flamboyant shots. I probably played better, many other times in different games, but when you talk about the wicket conditions, it was a bit wet and greasy. We lost the toss, were inserted, playing against the West Indies of 1984, pretty awesome bowling attack, and to make those runs under those circumstances, it's probably as good as I've played.
At the end of 1984, Border was past what might have seemed to be a poison chalice.
It took him a while to settle into the captaincy role. He never really sought the captaincy or wanted the captaincy. It was sort of thrust upon him a little bit. So it took him a while to embrace it and get used to it and really make a fist of it. But once he got it all together, Australia had a terrific record under his leadership.